Right, so we've got a heater that doesn't work. As you know, there's precious little online about these vehicles. It's really hard to get any kind of workshop manual for them, or electrical diagram. One of the hardest things I tried to find. I've got one in Russian, which I'll show you in a minute. So we've got a heater on here that doesn't blow, it doesn't work. As you can see, I'm fairly well into this at the moment. I just want to have a look behind everything. These dashboards come apart quite easily, actually. It's not a lot to it, it's just a load of screws. There's nothing too technical about taking it apart. You know, just use your noddle really. So just to be safe, I mean, all these buses and vehicles have been messed around with over the years. People change things, add bits and pieces, and usually they do a terrible job. You know, I don't like seeing things like this fuse box that's been added here. It's just been put in there and just left. You know, I don't like using these terminals, these little crimp terminals. I don't like using those. You won't see me using them. I only ever use F-type terminals, crimped on properly with sleeves over, so to make it as original looking as possible. I don't always use the original colour wires, and I never get them. So, heater blower doesn't work. We're not having that. That's one of the things that absolutely has to be repaired. I've already tied up a little bit in here. There's a few wires that were going to nowhere. I can't find the end of that, but it just wasn't doing anything. But it's a tricky one really, because you've got to kind of understand how these things work. I've traced it back. I mean, what it works out is it works on the negative side. Let me try and explain that. Power goes to the fan, it goes to the regulator, which then goes through to the switch after it gets through its... I can't explain that properly. Should I explain it properly? I don't know. So it's a tricky old thing really. I mean, I've traced some wires back, it all goes onto the earthing side. One thing I did find, without the aid of a diagram, was this plug here. This plug here was tucked down the top of the middle of the dashboard here. And the wires coming out of this side, yeah, I can recognise all of those, because all of those go down through to the switch. You can see there, the switch down there itself. Now it's unlikely to be the switch. This might have to be a regulator, but even if a regulator goes, usually you'll get some kind of something happening. So trace it back to this thing, and the one that stands out is this purple wire here. It's actually a violet wire. This one here, this violet wire here doesn't seem to go anywhere else. So I traced it back. That's why I took the whole thing to pieces. Traced it all the way back through the loom to the back of the fuse box here, which comes out again quite easily, and there it is in the back of there. So it goes into there. Now the logic dictates that probably is the power wire to the heater, because the other side of that plug there, this little bunch up here, goes down to and from, it buries itself down in the heater box down here. So I'm pretty certain that's what it's going to be. So that's what I did logically, looking that up and thinking, well, that's probably going to be it. Kept me awake for a little while thinking about that one. Obviously I've checked the fuse, it's supposed to be that one F14. Don't trust these diagrams, don't trust these things. So I checked every other fuse as well. This thing over here, it says in the fuse box cover that that's the heater relay. It's actually ignition relay. It's everything on the ignition side. That one does your stop lights. That one I haven't found out what that does yet. I'm sure it's somewhere. I'm not interested in that right now. So that's how far we got. What we did was looked online last night and found a wiring diagram for it. This is the wiring diagram I found for it. It's quite easy to follow if you speak Russian, but I don't, and nor do I translate Russian. But luckily, there's a certain app, so plenty of apps you can get. Google Translator I use, which translates Russian into English, and from it I kind of gathered which of the wires I need to know. Down on the bottom right hand side there, that's the switch. A bit on the other side is the bunch of wires going to the right hand side at the bottom there, dotted line, that's the motor area. The thing I'm interested in is that middle bit there. Let me see if I can point to it. Oh yeah, there's my finger. That bit there is interesting. That says power, that bit says supply, electrical center. So that's saying that's the electrical center. Fine, fair enough. That's going to be the fuse board. Whoops. And that wire there is the one I'm looking at. Now it says color code VI, which is violet. That's what German use for power. So I reckon it didn't show it's fuse 14 there, but I reckon that's my problem. My problem is this wire here, not getting power down to the motor. As you can see, it goes to the motor first, then through the regulator, then back over to the switches, which kind of regulates the earth resistance to it, whatever you want to say. I apologise for that being wrong. I know it's wrong. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm thinking. My main problem is this one here needs power. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to test that by putting a power supply directly into the back of this motor through that multi-plug and see if it blows as it should. So we did a bit of a test. Unfortunately I don't have my tripod with me today, so I can't do two things at once, but I'll show you what I did. What I've done here is I've taken a feed from the fuse box in there. Run it through to a fuse, actually one of the spare fuses that were living in there, apologies for focus, and then just poke that straight into the back of this plug, into the purpley wire. I don't see it there, but I've just shoved a bit of I've just shoved that in there, just test it, and it blows like a good, and it blows perfectly well. So the problem is this purple wire not actually getting its feed from the fuse box. Now, call me a coward, call me what you like, but I don't want to take that apart, because I know it will come apart and I can probably trace it inside, but I can see there's like a circuit board inside there, all sorts of stuff, and I don't want to ruin it. So what I'll do is I have to get myself a relay. Don't forget, everything's 24 volt on these, so it's not something you can get out your toolbox that you found in your car one day. It's all 24 volt. So I'm going to get myself a 24 volt relay, and I'm going to jury rig it and make my own up. I'll make it up into an ignition live blower feed, so that it works as normal but outside of this fuse box, and fuse it of course, make it safe, and that should take care of that job. So I'll come back to it when I'm done and show it all working, or show you a burnt out van, one of the two. Anyway, thanks a lot, see you soon. So here we are, it's a few days later, and a few parts have been added. I've done what I want to do, and overall quite happy with the result. I'll go through what I've done fairly quickly. As you can see, I've given it a bit of a clean as well. That purple wire was the culprit, it was the thing. What I did whilst I was in there, as I removed a carrier bag full of dirty old wiring that didn't do anything, that was just sitting in there not doing a thing. So I took all that out, made sure everything else still worked, and I'll go through it. See this new switch here? This new switch here came from a company called Car Builder, and it works by air conditioning. This bus has got air conditioning separate from the engine that runs in the back there, and I didn't like the switch that was on there. It was a nasty, horrible little thing. So I put a decent switch on there, cut it in there. That looks quite nice. As you can see, all the heat controls are in. It's all working now. I also put in a 12 volt transformer, so 24 down to 12 volt, which powers this little USB outlet here, which, as you can see, now goes to my phone. That's on a magnetic mount that I bought. It's all Amazon stuff, it's all cheap bits. I sort of made a bit of that. It's a little bit, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm happy enough with that. So we've got a good blower now. That works quite well. Show you what I've done in here. Fuse box, as you know, lives inside here. You've got the fuse box behind here. That's all nice and ship shape now. There's no nasty wiring hidden behind there. And in this side, and I know it's a glove box, but I've used it as an extra fuse box. I've excuse me, when I crouched down here, added two additional fuse boxes in here. One is 24 volt battery live, permanent live. That blue wire you see coming at the top here, where I up there, that goes back to the back of this fuse box. Behind here you've got a terminal post that comes direct from the battery. So I took a feed from that. It's about 100 amp it can take, stuck it into this 24 volt battery live box here, in these nice neat little fuse boxes. Again, you can get those from Car Builder, or you can get them on Amazon, get them anywhere. They come with little stickers, as you can see. I've got one that says air conditioning, so I put air compressor on there. The other one works my overhead light. So now if I want to add anything more, it seems a little bit overkill. If I want to add any more accessories on the 24 volt side, I can do it straight from this fuse box. I know exactly how it's wired. These two earths here are wired directly to the main body. So I know I've got a good earth, I know I've got a good power. So really I don't need to delve into this fuse box ever again. On the other side here, through this relay, 40 amp relay, which comes off the 24 volt feed, and an ignition live from that white wire there, we've added a 24 volt ignition live outlet here. Now probably I'm not going to go more than 40 amps above this, be a little bit careful, but there it is there, blower. That works my heater now, and the other one's a DC outlet, which is the auxiliary outlet there. Now so it's fairly neat in there. I'm quite happy with that. I can't overemphasize the use of using decent tools and terminals when you do this sort of thing. Don't mess around. I know it doesn't really matter because no one's ever going to see it, but I know it's there. I know this is wired correctly, or I think it is. If you think it's not, please feel free to comment if you don't like the way it looks like in there. I'm not going to throw lots of pliers and things in there. It's just, probably bug a first aid kit or a bit of rag or something in there from now on. But it's accessible, so in the middle of the night when the whole thing's gone dead, I can at least know where things are and know where I can get a feed from. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I've done other things in here as well. I'm not going to go into too huge a detail, but it took a few days. I also put an exhaust on it as well, which wasn't fun. Maybe I'll document that separately, but I'm quite pleased with the way it's going now. That's okay. Happy with that dash. I'm happy I've got a blower, and I'm happy that it's not going to catch fire when I go over a bump. He said, see you next week's video. So that's it for this video. I'm not I'm not here to make a profit. I'm not going to monetize any of this. You won't see any fancy music or things on it. I doubt if I do. Please feel free to comment if you want to ask me anything. Go ahead and do so. Criticise whatever you like. So I don't really care if you like or subscribe or whatever you do. It's just one of those things that I would like to have seen when I was looking for how to fix my heater on my Vario. You know, there's precious little on YouTube on these things and how to fix them. So what I would like to do, you know, is just add a few more things, add a few more bits and how to repair them. I hope it helps. It would have helped me if I'd have shown myself this video. Does that make sense? And until the next time, something else I find to do, then carry on. Bye.